Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Today on La Vie Creative podcast, I interview another American in Paris. His name's Michael, and he worked in New York City for 22 years before moving to Paris, where he now teaches Broadway Jazz, ballet, vocal technique, and musical theater. I hope you guys enjoy the show today. So welcome to the show, Michael. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
I'm great. We were just talking about earlier before I hit the record button how Paris is a village. We've actually met before, and I didn't even realize it until I see your face again. So it's good to talk to you again.
It's a pleasure to talk to you again.
And how long have you been in Paris now? I want to hear your Paris story. What brought you here?
Oh, my Paris story is so interesting. I just hit 7 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And Paris has been, I feel like Paris called me here. I did West Side Story here when I was a youngster. I did the European tour for Jerome Robbins here when I was 21.
Wow.
And I didn't think much of Paris at the time. And then I had a friend in the New York City Ballet, and they were playing the Bastille about 8 years ago, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it was more than that. It was 10 years ago. And he said, oh, come along and you can hang out in Paris. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I came and I fell in love with the city.
So you weren't that attracted the first go around, and this time?
Not at all. Not at all. And then that second time around, I was really intrigued by the energy. I started coming to Paris every year or so for a couple of days. And I'm a meditator, and I was meditating one time here in Paris, and this little voice, knowing, a voice might sound weird, but a voice came up and said, don't go, stay.
Wow.
Yes, that clear. And it also then later said, you have to learn something there that you cannot learn anywhere else in the world.
Hello, did you learn it yet?
I did. And I followed my guts here and let the universe kind of lead me along.
I like that you said I'm a meditator. I love that you're like, I'm a meditator. I feel like some of us want to be meditators, like most of us want to be meditators, and we're terrible at it, myself included. I'm the worst meditator.
I have news for you. It's not always easy.
Sometimes, okay, even for you, because you're a meditator.
Yeah, I've been meditating for 20 some odd years, and some days it's like it's a grind, and other days it's like, oh, that was easy, and then the other days I'm like, everything, my body's like, don't sit down.
And do you do the morning pages too, where you just let your
I don't do that. I do kind of like a clearing of my mind. I've done many forms of meditation. But now it's a mantra based. I just repeat a word, and then I allow my thoughts to come and go. And eventually, almost every day, not always, but almost every day, I can get to a place where I have no thoughts, like blank.
Is that like transcendental?
It is kind of a transcendental. Yeah, it is transcendental. Yeah.
Yeah, the mantras, because my friend is all about it.
I've had like gurus and teachers and stuff like that. So I have kind of amalgamated all the styles, and it'll change. Some days it'll just be a breath. Some days I'll feel a pain and focus on that. And I have a toolbox, like a little spiritual toolbox that I pull things out of.
I love that because, that's what it's only become trendy in like the last 10 years, but it sounds like you discovered it a little earlier than most.
I did, yeah. I found it through one of my great mentors, the great Broadway legend, Betty Buckley. And I studied with her for 2 years. And I had dabbled with the idea, and then she uses meditation as a basis in storytelling, in acting, and in singing, and with the idea of true artistry. True art comes through concentration,
Oh, I
and
like that.
concentration. The greatest tool to develop concentration is meditation.
That's great advice. I mean, I remember my high school art teacher was like 1,000 years ago, would always say, you can make great art if you just slow down, like
Yeah.
you're always
Well,
rushing through.
we live in a world of, we live in the quantum fields right now. Really, like everything is moving at the speed of sound and
Yeah.
light. And even though that's wonderful with technology and stuff like that, like we can buy Hamilton tickets in 3 seconds flat. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But art is really about slowing down and allowing, and not kind of grinding and pushing.
And would you say like slowing down so like the source can flow through you, like they always talk about all these.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of, I guess, the source, but I say just getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. I think we know everything. We everything comes through us. Like I say to people, you are not the water, you are the faucet. And it's just about getting out of your way. And then, of course, there are parts of things that you need to train for. If you can't hit that note, if you can't do that specific pirouette, then you have to go back and train. But it's all in us already.
Yeah, it's just a matter of evoking it, bringing it out.
That is the perfect word, evoking it. Yeah.
So you were teaching in New York City for 22 years.
Yes, I did.
Wow. I mean, Broadway, you're working with all these mega stars, doing all these amazing things. And then all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to go to Paris. I don't have anything really going on there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of...
Well, what had happened to me was I had just turned 40, and I was a little lost in New York.
Yeah.
I didn't have I didn't feel solid. And the business had changed. I had changed. I had gotten older. I didn't want to be in the chorus of a show. It was just difficult for me at that time. And something inside of me said, you need to go somewhere. And it was Paris that called me. And that was actually the great gift of Paris. One of the great gifts of Paris was, I believe that cities hold energetic patterns. So New York definitely had its own energetic pattern. And because I was outside of that circle, I got to see it and say that, oh, that works, that doesn't work. I need to change this. I need to change that. I was a seeker. I say I still am a seeker, but I was always looking for magic somewhere because I thought I was missing some. I thought I didn't have any magic, and the gift of Paris was I came and nobody knew who and what I did. So I had the opportunity to be authentically myself.
I love that.
And it was really, I am eternally grateful for that ability. So it was a year after deciding to stay in Paris. It was actually my 42nd birthday. And my students threw me a birthday party.
Oh.
And I knew it was happening, but they had a surprise for me. And they had about 50 of them rehearsed a song for me with the pianist and everything. And it's the song, Thank You for the Music. And I sat there in my friend's beautiful apartment that she so graciously gave for the party. And it actually moves me now to tears. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I have been searching for magic everywhere. And holy shit, I'm the magic.
Oh, I love this story.
And that was one of the greatest gifts of Paris, to teach me to go back inside and stop looking outside of myself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. All the books you read about like discovering creativity in yourself, it's like, it's all in you, it's all there already. And I love how you call it the magic. That's really, that's special. absolutely like that, the magic.
Well, I
And
believe like as artists, we are called here.
yeah.
Whoever you believe in, I always say, kind of jokingly, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Allah, or Ronald McDonald. You that's a calling, and that the universe, if we can just use that kind of blanket term, the universe wouldn't give you that calling without the ability to fulfill it.
And do you believe that we're all artists in some way, or some people are just artists?
I think everyone has their gifts. I don't think everybody is an artist or a
Yeah.
singer or a dancer. Some people's art is cooking. Some
Hmm.
people's art is rocket science.
Yeah.
That's definitely an art. Some people's art is raising a child, one of the
Mhm.
most difficult and most challenging jobs in the world. That is an art also.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about, art as in singing and dancing and
Yeah.
painting and stuff like that. I think I don't think everybody is born with star quality, but I do
Hmm.
believe that everybody has the capacity to do it because
Hmm.
babies dance just on their own and
Yeah.
babies sing just on their own. And so I think that is inherently in us, the ability to sing and dance.
Yeah. To do something creative,
Yeah,
basically, to
and it's
play.
and it's an expression. All it is. Before there was language, there was dance and singing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
expression.
I want to go back to what you were talking about with energy, and I've noticed this as I've aged. I mean, in my 20s, I wasn't paying attention to anything, but
Who
now,
was?
yeah, exactly. Besides, where was I drinking? Where was I going?
Tell me about it. I know.
Yeah. But now, when I come and go, as you say, from certain places, the energy is so different. Like when I leave Paris, I feel my body relax. Or if I go back
Hmm.
to suburban Maryland where I grew up, I feel there's a certain kind of mentality, a certain type of energy. And
Yes.
I go to Ireland, that's magic to me. That's where all the magic is in Ireland.
Oh
Like,
wow.
so how do you feel like it's like, do you think there can be bad energy in Paris too? Or do you only feel the good stuff? Like, how do you feel about that?
I think there is definitely I definitely believe that certain cities have, as I said, energetic patterns. Like
Hmm.
New York is very frenetic. It's fast moving. It's electric. LA definitely has this like chill vibe. Paris has, for me, it's a very particular energy because we are surrounded in this city by incredible beauty,
Hmm.
um, architecturally and art. I mean, like as in paintings and sculpture and stuff like that, and also the sky of Paris is quite beautiful. I noticed that it hangs quite low,
Yeah.
so there's this beauty, aesthetic energy, and then there's also this. I This is what I've come to discover. I could be wrong, but I believe the cultural mentality is a culture of thinkers. They've been raised to be brilliant thinkers and
Hmm.
to really ponder things and have great discussions about things.
Yeah.
And as wonderful as that is, it can block people, especially in the arts, because the arts don't really run on brain power. It runs on
Hmm.
feeling power.
Yeah. No.
And so it can, and I think that's why so many people are attracted to it here, because
Hmm.
it does bring up feelings.
Yeah.
And kinetic, energy of our own body and getting us out of our brain. So I
Yeah. That's.
think Paris has that two-sidedness to it.
Hmm. And do you think this energy is coming from the past or the
For
present?
sure, yeah. I mean, Paris is France, Europe, really. Let's just say Europe. Europe has a much deeper history than us. I mean, the United States, we're babies,
Yeah.
we're like toddlers compared to France and Portugal and Italy and all those
Hmm.
countries. So I think there is, ancestral energy, of course, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Because it makes you wonder, like, if it's from energy of things that happen, it's like, oh, there should be some dark energy here, all the revolution.
I will tell you, I'll tell you something that I have thought and felt for quite a while. I was here during Charlie Hebdo and then
Hmm.
also the Bataclan. And
Yeah.
I was also in New York for both of the Twin Tower things, the
Wow.
bombing in 93, and then of course 9/11.
Yeah.
And I feel that Paris has not completely healed from the Bataclan
Yeah.
because we were not allowed to meet and join together and grieve or celebrate or just reminisce. Because I
Yeah.
remember after Charlie Hebdo, I went out. I went to Place de République and was there with those million people, and it was
Mhm.
so moving and
Yeah.
so cathartic, and it kind of like capped it, it gave it some finality. And then
Yeah.
with Charlie Hebdo, I'm sorry, with the Bataclan, uh, the administration at that time did not allow us
Yeah.
to gather, and I feel like there is some psychic wound that's
Yeah.
still hovering around.
Yeah. And then a pandemic. I mean, it's
Yes.
like
Then no,
a
look at
lot.
that, and then the Notre Dame, and then a pandemic. To me, it's like these little. They're not little. They're actually quite large events, but it's events that say to me, we have to connect. We have to be together. We have to do something. We have to grieve. We have to, and basically at the end of it all, we need to feel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very true. I think in cities, as much as they can inspire us, they can also shut us down because we get in that
Yes.
hamster wheel
Yes.
and you
Yeah,
just go numb.
and that's why I said I left New York. I was in
Yeah.
that hamster wheel for sure.
And talk about how your work has evolved since moving to Paris. What have you been working on here?
Well, my work, I in New York, I started out as a performer, and then I started helping people create things, like the beautiful and our late Anne Ranking, a couple of projects with her, and then I became an educator. And then when I moved here, um, I didn't really have a plan. I didn't have a job at all,
Yeah.
and the teaching took off after a little bit. It took off, and then I saw a little gray space here, or a white space, I mean, of training in that type of real American Broadway style. So I opened up a school here, an academy, and then I also my the first song that I danced to in my jazz class is the song "Magic to Do" from the musical Pippin,
Mm.
and I saw people's reactions to it. The people in my class, they all were singing it and they liked it. And even after class, they'd be like, "We got magic to do." And one day I said, "Oh, I wonder what magic to do would be in French." And my friends said, "Oh, let's translate it." So everyone gave me their own version, and then my friend Marion Martelin, who was my first Parisian friend and
Oh,
one of my first students, actually, also came up with a brilliant translation of Magic to Do. And for fun, I choreographed it and filmed it with
ah,
some performers that I knew here,
yeah.
and sent it to my pal Stephen Schwartz, the original composer and lyricist. And
Wow.
he was so impressed by it. He said, "Keep going."
Huh.
And he's like, "Just do it." He's like, "If you want to do it, do it. I give you full permission."
This is
So
great.
after about a year and a half, it took us, Marion and I, to translate it. And with full approval with Stephen, like we had to do we had to do each song in three different versions. So it would be, "We've got magic to do just for you." Second column, "Toute cette magie en nous, c'est pour vous." Then we'd
Yeah.
have to retranslate it back into English for Stephen. "All this magic in us is just for you." And he would give approval on it or not. And
So much work. Oh my.
yeah, but it was fun. I mean, it was just really, really fun. I think I could not have done it without Marion. I could not have done it. But I think what made it easy for us was because I was so accustomed and had so much knowledge of the show already. and
Yeah.
had enough French knowledge, I could say, no, that's not really what he means. He means
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it made the process a lot easier. And then 2 years ago, once the show was done, I said, well, I mean, I need to put it on its feet and
Yeah.
see if it works. And on a fluke, I happened to be in New York for Christmas, and I said to Stephen, I was hanging out with him, and I said, oh, I'm going to do a workshop of Pippin. And he's like, oh, really, when? And I said, oh, probably the first week of March. And he's like, oh, I might come. And I thought, oh, okay, whatever. And then like 2 weeks later, he's like, so I arrive March 6th. And I thought, holy shit, I really have to do it now.
No pressure.
So I did. I had like a full audition, had a full cast, and we worked 3 days before he got here. And then he came for 4 days. And he and I worked really intensely on the opening and the closing. And then we filmed it as a sizzle reel, or as they say here in France, a teaser,
Yeah.
to find a producer and to mount a full-on production of this.
And it's happening? Are you doing it?
Well, this is an interesting story. I had found a producer right away, like just maybe a month after I filmed it.
Wow.
And he was very gung-ho. Stephen even came to meet him. And then, for whatever reasons, he wanted to back out, which I understand. You know, I don't hold anyone to, I don't force anyone to do that. And then the pandemic hit.
Of course.
And during the pandemic, I gave the day of our first lockdown, I was supposed to teach in real life. And I thought, well, what am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm just going to turn on Facebook Live and teach my class and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I did. And like 70 people showed up. And then the next day, 80 people. And the next day, 90. And then the next day, 100. And it just kept growing.
This is fantastic.
And I gave 80 classes nonstop.
So you're doing it all on Facebook Live?
It was on Facebook Live for free, just as a gift to people during that first lockdown.
So fun. We needed that.
Yeah, we did. I needed it too. I needed it as much as they did.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I have so many eyes on me right now. I'm going to release the trailer, this teaser, because it had not been released. It was just private, to people that were interested. And because of that, this woman contacted me. There's this chateau in the middle of France, between Clermont-Ferrand and Lyon, that wants to do a festival. So we're talking to them right now about kind of doing a month residency down in the middle of France with Pippin, and we'll see what happens.
This is huge. Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's so great. And like, I hear so many of these stories during the pandemic where people were just, kind of messing around on their webcam, starting something, and then it explodes into something like you doing Pippin in a castle in the middle of France.
Right. I mean, who knew? I wouldn't have thought of Pippin in a chateau.
This is going to be great. So it's all coming together. Maybe it's kind of good that guy backed out, because now it could be something different.
Yeah. I mean, because Pippin is a French story. I mean, it's Charlemagne.
Yeah.
So, and the castle's quite medieval looking. And I mean, there's some steps that we have to do, because it will be like what they call here with subvention and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we all know the ease and grace of the French paperwork. But we shall see. I have great trust in that it'll all work out.
As long as you have some good French friends, you'll be all right.
Exactly. Oh my God, my French, I owe them everything. I just wrote a message to somebody the other day and just, thank you so much for helping me navigate like the tax system,
Yes, it's so tough. I mean, this is the thing that comes up on the show a lot too, is, once you have a person who's French and they say they're your friend, they really are your friend. Like they'll really show up. Friend. Yeah. Like that American thing where it's like, yeah, we'll get coffee, and you never see them again. But French people, like, they really show up once you're in their world.
Yeah. Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to get in, but once you're in, you're in.
Exactly. And I'm curious, how do you define creativity?
Ooh la la. How do I define creative? Oh, no one has ever asked me that question.
I'm glad.
Um, that's a really, really good question. Creativity is the ability to tap in to your inner child. Is really to me
I
that's
like.
really what it is. You know, because if you think about children, they are infinitely creative.
Hmm.
You know, a cape, a towel becomes a Superman cape. A box becomes a castle.
Yeah.
You know, so and they're in such belief, you know, that it actually becomes that.
And the feelings, kids are just constantly expressing their emotions.
Yes, full out, but there is no boundary. You know,
Yeah.
there's no barrier. It's full out. And I think that is the true ability of being creative, is tapping into that childlike, that innocent, full on, belief.
I like that. No one's ever given me that
But
explanation like
think
that.
about it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was Superman all the time, and all it was a towel, but I really was Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I love it. You were performing from a very young age.
Yes, for sure.
And how do you get focused or into those flow states that always come up with the arts? Like, how do you get into your flow state?
My flow, I love the craft. I
Hmm.
actually love the, like, just kind of the same as spirituality. I love the seeking of it.
Yeah.
So it's about, how can this moment be more real? How can this moment be deeper? How can it be more refined? What little thing can make it, pop out? Can it make it sparkle? In those moments, God, like, time flies.
Yeah.
When I was working with Stephen on Pippin, I remember, because we were just bouncing ideas off of each other. Time just kind of, it stood still, and
Yeah.
it went so fast. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to me, it's about getting into the work. I actually like the work more than the performing part.
That's interesting. My last guest, she's a painter, and she was saying the same thing. She kind of enjoyed the journey, the preparation, the
Yeah.
blank canvas, what can come from there, the planning of it.
Yeah, so getting into that flow state is just getting really into the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
that's what I think.
I like that. And what would you say to people who say they're not creative, they don't have any creative talent?
Baloney. Liars. They're liars.
How do they discover their gifts though? What do they do?
I think it's about trying, and not, this is interesting that you say this, because I have so many people, I would say, gosh, at least 2 or 3 emails a week I get from people saying, I would love to take your class, but I don't think I have the level.
Mm,
And I always say, just come.
yeah.
Just come and see if it works. And to me, it's about having that courage, the bravery to try it. Listen, if you fall on your face, it's okay. The floor is
Yeah.
not that far away.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think it's I mean, for lack of a better word, it's fear. The thought that you don't have talent is fear. And what is the opposite of fear is love. And then
Mm.
love, we can define that in so many ways. But I'll say, it's, in this case, it's self-love of trying it and not judging yourself for it.
I love that. Just being open, vulnerable.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect.
No, I mean, who is perfect? Perfect is death. Perfection is death. Once it's perfect, you're dead. And
I
it
love
can
that.
always be improved. It can always be deeper and more beautiful and more refined. And I always tell people, like, when they make a mistake, that's really where the magic is. The Native American indigenous people of America, when they would knit, is that knit rugs, weave rugs, when they would
Weave
weave
rugs, yeah.
rugs, they would always make a mistake on purpose because they believe that's where magic flows through
Oh,
the
I like
weave.
that. I
Yeah,
never heard that story
yeah.
before. And where can people connect with you online, find out more about Pippin, find out more about
It's pretty easy. My website is broadwayinparis.com. You can't get
your
any easier than that. Instagram, the same. It's Broadway in Paris. My personal stuff is all about Michael. So the website is all about Michael, and my Instagram tag is all about Michael. And yeah, there's inspiration there. There's theater. There's health. There's wellness. But Broadway in Paris is really just all that jazz. It's just singing and dancing.
Oh, I love that. All that
Yeah.
jazz brought to Paris. And I can't believe you're the first. I mean, it's great. You finally brought it here, you know? Like that's
I don't know
great.
if I brought it here, but I definitely helped, I hope, helped expand it here.
Yeah, the first American Musical Theater Academy. Well, check out Michael, guys. Check out his website. And thank you so much for giving us all that great insight today, Michael.
My pleasure and honor.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.